Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sip Fearlessly.
Hey.
So excited, so
Okay.
excited. Okay. And it's Women's History Month.
Yes,
So,
it
of
is.
course, we had to have a panel full of amazing women.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay. So we're super excited because today we have just a round of amazing, amazing women that are popping in, and we're going to talk to them and, get into everything that they're doing and, get just be around that energy and get inspired. You know, we in 2024, right? We're talking about leveling up. We're talking about focusing and doing on, what we need to do and just focusing on, just killing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Killing it, right? We went through a pandemic. It's time for us to get back outside,
Right.
focus on what we're doing, and just put our best selves out there. So super excited to be around all of this energy today. I always forget which camera I'm looking at. Okay, that one. All right. The one that's moving is the solo. Okay. So welcome back to Sit Fearlessly. Y'all know that we did a revamp recently, formerly known as the Fearless Show. But we're definitely excited about our new journey. My sister and I,
Yes.
SIP stands for Sisters in Power, and also, for sipping on some tea and just having a good conversation.
Right.
So we're very excited on everything that we have coming up. This is an incredible season. Shout out to, The Matrix Studio. Shout out to TWI always for the support. And what else? Oh, every Friday we are on 101.9, Party 101.9 on iHeartRadio. So definitely make sure y'all check it out. All of these interviews are going to be on there. Yes. In the AM, 11 a.m. on Fridays, every Friday. So definitely we're going to have all of these episodes, pop up on there. And these conversations are just incredible. Y'all seen what we did last time. We did those numbers. We just having really great conversations that people want to hear about. So, and right now it's no different.
Right.
We have our queen, Troy Hawkins, who has come back and sat with us. And I'm so excited to have her back because we have some unfinished business. Okay.
Absolutely. Gotta finish it up.
Yes, that's right. So for those of you who don't know, but you should know at this point, I'm your girl, Sue Fearless.
And I'm Gigi.
And we make up Sip Fearlessly. Okay. All right. So we have our special guest, Troy, in the building today. Thank you so much, Queen, for coming.
Oh my gosh. I'm so honored to be here.
Yes. And we were already having such a great conversation offline.
Turn the camera on.
Right.
Hopefully we could keep it that way because,
exactly.
the cameras turn on and we just
we had some sips, so we should be good.
Exactly.
We should be good.
We warmed up.
Right.
So we're just going to dive right in. So a major reason why I wanted to have Troy back on is because we have unfinished business centered around financial therapy. That is something that's huge for me. It's something very important because, we talk about therapy all the time, all different types of therapy, right? Family therapy, relationship therapy, all of those things, right? But we never talk about our relationship with finances and how that affects us and how things that we've been through in our life affects us in our financial realm, right? So I wanted to bring you back to kind of dive into that and, get that conversation started again. So I guess maybe you can share a little bit of your background first, and then we'll dive into the questions.
Okay. I am Troy Hawkins. I am a beauty professional for the last 10 years. I started out as a beauty professional and I had to transition my business due to the pandemic. So I needed to pivot because the pandemic made me stay out of everybody's face. I couldn't be in anybody's face. So I got my life insurance license from a young lady that I met who was actually my client. She was one of my makeup clients. And she always used to ask me about life insurance. And you would be good. You're already selling, it's a different type of product, but, so then I ended up getting signed up. I passed my test one go, thank God.
Hey.
Ooh, it was a lot, but I ended up becoming a life insurance agent in 2020. Now, I didn't start running my business until 2022. And I had a partner who at the time was heavy into finances. And because of the pandemic, I really had to my finances were staring me in my face. Just my situation again. Okay. Because before I told my story about being left, me and my brother were products of life insurance. We were left $1 million from my father's passing. And we blew the money. So we blew the money in about 18 months. I was broke. And then my brother, who was scheduled to get his his death benefit, he blew his money because of the lack of financial literacy. And so that's why financial therapy has really come up a lot, because I ended up doing makeup for a financial company called Bright House Financial. And I ended up doing makeup for a financial therapist. And it's funny how God aligns you. And she was, I probably was oversharing, telling her a bunch of, telling her my life story. And she ended up saying, you know what you need? Financial therapy. And I was like, what? She was like, financial therapy, you need to look into it. So I was like, damn, am I that messed up? Like, at first I thought, because it's a stigma sometimes around it. Without, the education, you don't really know, how, that things like that are normal. Like, it's normal life to go and see the lady. So we ended up talking, and she talked to me a few times. I ended up talking to her a few times. She, pro bono me, like gave me a few free sessions. But other than that, I just really went heavy into financial education. So I ended up learning a lot more about finances, finding out how I could change my finances. Because I remember one of the main topics was talk to somebody about it. So, you have to find somebody that you can trust. And I know we often talk to our family about stuff, but if they're suffering from financial trauma, how do you talk to people about it? Because they don't really understand it.
So you are a product of them. So
and you're right, because it really starts from your childhood. Like everyone experiences it. Really, financial trauma is literally just your negative experiences with money. So I just dove deep, like we talked about with, YouTube University. I went really deep into how I could change my situation, and it all came full circle. So now I'm here. Now I'm here with you talking about it. Yeah.
And listen, your story probably is a lot of people's stories.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Unfortunately, well, first of all, let me start with this. Having life insurance is so important, y'all. Because as you can see, look at what happened, right? Troy lost a family member, and then she was able to have, life insurance to be able to take care of what happened to the family member, any of those expenses, funeral, things like that, and then also have sustainability, right? After you lose your parent, right? So I think first and foremost, that's so important. Like, you guys need to get life insurance. If you don't have life insurance, please get life insurance. Okay. So important. That's first and foremost, and connect with Troy to get life insurance.
Right. I'm
okay?
all about education because it is a product that is a little bit more complex.
Yes.
So educating people is more important than actually making sure that everybody has a policy, because maybe you can't afford it right now, but the information is important.
Yes.
So
absolutely. And there are ways to be able to afford it, which is the good thing about it. So, and I just, I encourage you guys to get it now sooner than later, because, it does decrease as you get older and you get, more, you're less healthy, to put it that way. But another thing is a lot of us go through that, right? So a lot of us are left with life insurance policies, things like that, or we come across, let's say, lawsuit money or things like that. We start making a lot of money in our careers and we don't know what to do with it. Right.
Yep.
So I think that that's what we're lacking, the financial education. No one sits down and talks to us about what to do with our finances. Right.
And that is one of the reasons why trauma is so prevalent. But then you also have to look at it from a systemic standpoint too, because a lot of us are in neighborhoods where we don't have the access to everything that other people have, or like our counterparts have. So you're, as a child, let's say, like for me, instance, like, when I was a kid, my mom would send me to the store with the food stamps, the paper food stamps. And she was embarrassed to go to the store and use them. So she transferred that shame onto me, so I was nervous. And then like, it was right at the brink of when it was about to start swiping. And I'm like, maybe we probably should have kept the paper, because then people would be more inclined to not be on public assistance so long. But once the swipes came, it was like, oh, okay, we good. Like, we don't got to hide no more. We can go to the store and do what we need to do. But that is like, again, it's like systemic, redlining, those kind of things, all of those, like the banks giving you less or declining you or giving you high interest rates because you're Black. So a lot of that trauma is just America in itself. Like
Yeah.
it's just our culture here. And a
Definitely.
lot of people, it's like that meme with the Spider-Man pointing at each other. It's like
Right,
we
yes.
all got
No, you're
financial
right.
trauma. Like you got
Right,
all of us. So
right.
it is subjective to the person. So you may be experiencing it different
Right.
than Gigi, or you know.
Right.
So it really is, and it shows up. Like I said, it shows up differently in everybody. So you may not be as affected. Some people get used to the poverty.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they don't see anything wrong with it,
Absolutely.
but actually that's trauma. Like that
Yeah.
is just it's systemic. So
Yeah. It's the government sets it up so good for them that they just stay
Right.
there, and it's a
stay
cycle.
on it. It's generational.
Yes.
I agree. I agree. So there's two things that you said, right? So first and foremost, there's resources out there, right? So going back to what you said about us feeling shame and embarrassment behind asking for help, asking for education, things like that. I think that's the stigma number one that we should stop.
Yeah.
Because there's so many resources out there, right? So you teach about life insurance, right? And we were talking about that earlier. And you said every time you reach out for life insurance, it's dead silent,
Yeah.
right? So I do business coaching, similar thing. I've built up my clientele because I built it in relationships with other organizations and things like that. But have I gone by myself and go door to door and talk to people? It'll be crickets. Why do we do that? Why do we do that to ourselves? There's people out here that are actually providing information and education at an affordable price and
Right.
probably free sometimes. Okay. And we're not taking it up.
And
Right.
it also is a fear. It's a
Yes.
huge fear. I can remember after returning back to my apartment, it was empty. I had just left my boyfriend, and I'm like, I gotta start over, right? And so I had this box of paper, and there was so much mail that I hadn't opened. And now when I opened it, I realized you've been in survival mode your whole entire life. You have really been in survival mode. All of these papers, this is information that you needed. This was information that was warning you about something that you should have been paying attention to, eviction, all of the things, like everything. And so it's the fear of having to face the music
Yes.
that, one, you're not in a good place.
Right.
You're poor. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's what I kept saying. Like, I'm poor. Like, I have nothing. If my son was to get hurt, I can't even help him. If my mother needs something, I can't help her. There's no way. So it's like you really get a view, like a direct look at your life when you have to face it. And so that fear of facing the fact that you really are in a disparity, like you can't really do anything about your finances right now.
Right.
But education is important because it'll help you figure out how to do what you can do, small steps
exactly.
that you can do to start fixing your finances, and down to the smallest thing of just watching a YouTube video. That is a change. That's 20 minutes of your time
Right.
that you will now take into your future
Exactly.
to make a change.
There's so many ways. There's so many ways. Yes. It makes me feel sad that we're not stepping up to the plate for ourselves and showing up for ourselves. We need to start doing that. Okay, we're in 2024, y'all. Like, we need to start taking accountability for the decisions that we are making.
Right.
We aren't making the best decisions. So we need to change this now. And again, if there are resources out there, there's education out there, seek it. Don't be embarrassed. As you can see, we all go through it.
Yeah,
we
right.
all hit rock bottom and build
Yeah.
ourselves back up, right? We were just talking about that earlier. How many times haven't we rebuilt ourselves? How many times? I know I have plenty of times.
Right. And
Okay.
you have to. You realize that you really
Yes.
have to keep rebuilding yourself, because how else are you going to meet your higher self? How else are you going to reach that person that you see this person?
Right.
You see her every day. You dream about her. You look at her. You find her in different people that you look at, and you're like, I want that. I want to be, I want to be confident. I want to be strong. I want to be, powerful when I walk through a room door. And that is your example. God showed you that for a reason.
Exactly.
That's why you why you came across it. It was like you needed that.
Right.
So not wanting to work on yourself, it really is just fear of success.
Yeah.
It's fear of
Fear
succeeding.
of success and fear of facing yourself
Facing
as well.
yourself.
Because like you said, when that lady gave you her opinion and said, maybe you need financial therapy. The first thing you thought was, damn, am I that fucked up?
Right.
Like,
I don't know how.
Going on. I overshared.
It was
Yeah.
taken negatively
Right.
instead of
Yeah,
positively.
right.
Exactly.
Because that
And
was the
that's-
place I was in my life at
Right.
that time.
And
You're
that's
right.
what a lot of us do. And, to your point, when things like this come into our life and we're presented with these opportunities and with this type of knowledge and with this type of feedback, right? We need to embrace it and we need to
Feedback is
accept
big.
it. Yes.
Feedback is big.
And we need to take a moment to ourselves. And if we really want to change our life, what do we need to do to change our life? We really need to start thinking about those things because we're showing up every day, not as our full authentic self, not to our fullest potential. And that's where we fall short.
Yeah.
And we're only doing damage to ourselves, y'all. Because we're sitting here, we're scrolling Instagram, we're looking at everybody living their best life. And we're just like, oh my God, why can't I live my best life? Well, because we're not making the right decisions.
And I feel like the number one step is take accountability and accept it. And once you look at it and you accept it and let the fear go and take accountability for where you are, you make up a plan. And once you have a plan, that plan makes you confident and you go from there.
Right.
So I just feel like it's just, we have to be more accountable for our fucks up.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we're the ones that put us in that hole.
It's true.
So the minute we open our eyes to that and we come up with a plan, I think everything goes smooth.
Right.
That's how it worked for me.
I agree with you. And I also agree with the fact that some people, sometimes financial trauma will cripple you.
Right.
To the point where you can't really move, you can't do anything.
And you don't see
and
any
you really
like
don't
hope.
see
right.
where so that's the word, it's hope. So you don't have any hope, you don't see where things could change because they've been so jacked up for so long.
Right.
You're like, how can this even change? How can I change this?
But where the money's coming from?
Yeah.
Where's it coming from?
So I always, again, I always divert back to education. I always go back to, we actually have the resource. You have a whole computer in your hand. The world is in your hand. And so it has to be a want. It has to be a desire. If you don't desire to change, it's not going to happen. And also you have to kind of be thrusted into making a change. So you see it in movies all the time. The villain, something changed them. Something hit them that made them say, I'm either going to be the villain or I'm going to be the hero. Right. And so you have to choose where you want to be. Hopefully it's the hero of your life. We got enough villains around here. But if you decide you want to be that hero of your life, which is where I am now, because I'm not going to sit up here like I'm the expert.
Yes.
I'm literally in that phase
go.
now.
I like that.
I'm going to be the hero of my life right now. And I have to make those changes, So don't let it cripple you.
Right.
And if it does, be okay with where you are.
Right.
But take small baby steps into
Exactly.
And change that
Yes.
mindset.
Listen, you have to be your own hero. Baby steps.
Right.
It's not easy, y'all. It's not going to change overnight.
No.
That's the problem. We lazy. Okay? We want things handed to us.
Watch too much
Yes.
movies.
We want things handed to us. I want to be like, gee, how did you do it? Just do it for me, G.
Right.
Just do it. No, we gotta do it for ourselves. We have to show up for ourselves because let me tell you something. And a lot of us may not be religious, but let me tell you something. Once you start aligning yourself, God starts showing you all your opportunities. Okay? Little by little. All the doors open. But you have to align yourself with what you want. Not what you're seeing that you think you want. What do you want for yourself? You have to start tapping into your own talents. God has given us all these talents that we are misusing or we're not using or we're tucking in because of imposter syndrome, whatever we're doing, right? We need to just show up for ourselves.
And
y'all.
put in the work.
That's it.
Because
Put
if
in
you're
the
not
work.
putting the work, no
Put in the
doors are going
work.
to open. You got to put in the
Exactly.
work.
And maybe it's not for yourself. Maybe it's for your child.
Yes.
Maybe it's for
That's another
your
thing.
mom.
That's-
Maybe it's for it.
For the
has to be a
better of
reason.
others, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So I have some questions here because I ain't really need them.
Right, of course not.
I'm sorry. I just-
No, I love it. All right, let's see. Okay, so being everything you went through, what steps have you taken since then to recover from financial loss and rebuild your financial security?
Right. So I've been opening small accounts and just adding money into those accounts, emergency accounts.
Let me tell you, y'all, that's big.
Yeah.
Because if you don't look at it and then you go back and look
Yeah,
at it
and
after
then
a
you go back
year,
and
you're
look
like,
at it.
okay.
Right. So high yield accounts that will grow over time and compound interest. Life insurance. I made sure I got myself and my son solid because I walked around with no life insurance and I was like nervous. I was like, God, I can't afford to die today.
Right.
The life insurance policy
Right.
ain't on. I need to get it reinstated. So again, losing everything in my relationship, I had to restart. So I had to start over. And the first thing I did was every time I get a little something, I put it to the side for an emergency. It is growing, and I'm happy about that because I never really had any kind of savings or anything. I also align myself with a few mentors. So I have a mentor. Her name is Lindsay Smith, the agent. Shout out to Lindsay. She's amazing. She is a life insurance agent, like to the star. She's like amazing woman, but she has really been beneficial for me because she'll teach you until you don't have any more questions. Like she talks to you until you have no more questions. You can ask her 20,000 questions and she'll answer every last one of them. But a lot of reading, lots of reading, lots of research and YouTube. And I did dibble and dabble in a little bit of real estate. And I did do Forex at one point, but I'm like a little partial to Forex. So I'm like, but I'll dibble back into that later on. But the main thing is just educating myself on what I can start putting my money towards now. The main thing was life insurance though, because I'm like, I could always borrow from that policy, because that's what I was thinking about. Like when I was going through my motions in life, I was like, damn, like I wish I had a policy that I could borrow money from, because it would have been available. But, or I wish that money, but that's part of the trauma, right? Like you start going backwards, thinking about what you could have done with the money, as opposed to what you're going to do now. So just making those changes, making small changes. So yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. So actually, I want to ask you about that. Because for me, so my relationship with money is a little different, right? So I feel like I need financial therapy. Definitely. And I find myself telling my kids something sometimes, and I'm like, no, we have abundance.
Right.
You can't speak from a place of lack all the time because that's not good.
Yeah.
So for me, it was hard, right? I was a young mom. I had to take care of my 2 children, and there was many times where I had negative $300 in my bank account, negative $1,000 in my bank account, overdrawn. They're charging me fees up the wazoo. And I'm like, F y'all, I'm taking all my money out the bank, but there was no money in the bank to take out. Okay. So I went through a lot to where now my trauma is, now that I have what I have, I'm like this. I'm like, I don't want to let it go. I don't want to spend it. Just stay right there so I can look at you all the time. You're in there. We winning right now.
We on the same one right now.
We winning right now, but that's not good either, right? So that's when I started looking at investing my money and putting into mutual funds and stuff like that, which y'all should talk to Troy about that because that's important. That's some of the investments she's making. So I want to ask you about that. So have you been able to identify any patterns or beliefs about money that may have influenced like your outcome, right? Or moving forward now through your financial therapy process?
Yes. So this is just a quick story about my mom. This is the pattern, right? I remember saying, can we go to South Avenue? Go look in the stores, and she would be like, I ain't going in there. I ain't got no money. We ain't going in there. We ain't got no money for that. And I'm like, but why? Like we could have the money at some point. Like I remember always being that type of kid, but we may get the money. What if we get the money, then we don't know what we want? Like that kind of thing. But the patterns with me going through those type of things like that, like me feeling not worthy enough to go into certain stores, or if I didn't have the money, or like you said, hoarding the money once I do get a lot of, because now I'm like training myself because I know my money is coming. It's going, the abundance is staring me in the face. Okay. So I'm working on not being a compulsive and impulsive spender. So the next time I get my windfall or my earnings, that I don't become that person. So I did research again to find people that could advise me, because rich people need advisors too. They need
absolutely.
Definitely.
And don't think that they're not going through financial trauma either, because they also go through it. But the patterns I do notice is you know, like you said, talking to my son, and you know, sometimes saying things that are not that in a lack mentality.
Yes, exactly.
You know, you wasting this.
Mhm.
You think I got money for that? And I'm like, ooh, no, that sounds like my mother. Let me not.
Yeah.
Let me
I
backtrack
catch
that. You know.
myself.
So those kind of things start to surface, but talking about it again has helped me. Noticing and being more self-aware of how I'm speaking, what I'm saying to myself, how I'm speaking to my son. All of those things are patterns that I'm working to reverse.
Good.
So
We're
it's just
humans.
daily
It's gonna happen.
awareness is very important.
Well, listen, you have awareness, which
Right.
is an important thing. A lot of people don't have that.
Mhm.
So you're starting
Exactly.
from a good
Yeah,
place,
yeah.
okay? But
Took
we
a long
only,
time.
yeah. It takes a long
It
time.
takes-
That's what we're talking about. It's not
it's
easy.
a journey.
Yes.
It's a journey. You'll always be feeling like
Yes.
you need to work on something. So
Everything is a journey, everything, y'all. And we just need to break these generational cycles of trauma in anything, you know, and in whatever it is that we're going through, financial, relationships, family. We need to break these generational traumas, because we get to a certain age that it's like, okay, we can't blame our past for the rest of our life. When are we going to stand up and take accountability for our actions?
Right.
We need to start doing that. And we only have about 3 minutes left, but I want to ask you, because you know, no, because D got me on check, but I like that, because I be going over. These conversations are good.
They're
That's why. So we haven't talked about dating and finances.
Okay.
Let's talk about dating and finances. And tell us a little bit about that, because we saw, right? What's her name we was talking about earlier? She had 1 million views. What was her name? She was talking about her
Oh,
relationship.
Nessa.
I don't-
The girl
Tessa, I
from
think.
TikTok with
Yes.
the story
Right.
of who did I marry?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? So who did she marry? Right? So she married an imposter, basically,
Right.
a fugazi. And you know, he lied to her basically and pretended like he had something and he
Yeah.
didn't have anything, made her put everything under her name, which I want to bring that up too, because this stems from every generation, you know, because from my generation too, like a lot of the times when we mess up our credit too, it's because we put stuff under our name for our man and stuff like that. And this younger generation does it a lot too, because I have a daughter, she's 18. She tells me all the time about it. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, grab all your friends. Let me talk to them.
Let's have a powwow. Bring them over.
Like, let me talk to them for a second. Let me help them start an LLC. You don't need nobody, but don't mess up your credit. But yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit, because I feel like for me, finances are very important in a relationship, and it's not to say that we're looking for rich people or things like that, but it does mean a lot.
Yeah.
It's important to have that conversation around finances.
Yeah. Like I said, on the first date, like when I'm not with anybody right now. So whenever I go on a date, I make sure I ask. I don't make it like an interrogation, but I do ask information that's gonna let me know if I want to continue seeing this person. So I used to not ask any questions and just be like, oh, okay, we out, we having a little sip, it's cool, whatever. But not anymore. I'm asking
Right.
all the questions. I want to
time to
know
waste.
everything.
Right.
What's your credit score? I'm gonna ask.
Right.
Because I'll spin it into a business conversation. Because most time I'll give somebody my number for life insurance and we end up on a date. So, and I ain't gonna turn down the meal,
Need a
sis.
bank?
Okay,
Life
I'm
insurance.
outside.
Yes.
We outside. Okay,
Some
so
equity in yourself
okay.
and your business.
so we
That's
start
right.
talking about business, and then we end up, you know. So it's like, what's going on? So you know, what's your credit score? Oh,
I
you,
love it.
You got business credit? Like, what's going on? How's that going? Okay, so you got properties? Oh, that's cute too. So
Right.
what's going on?
Right.
And I get really nosy, but in a you know a cool, calm, collected way.
Right.
And so it's very important
Yes.
that you ask those questions
Yes.
because you want to know if this person is going to play you
Right. Or ruin
financially
you, right.
or ruin you. But I will say people do interview well. So it may take more than one
Right.
conversation. You gotta, you know, play it out and see. But what I do notice is that guys are being really honest now. Like they're telling me about their relationship. They're telling me about everything, and
Okay.
they're being more honest now. So that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, because
Ask
I
the
feel like we
questions,
need to be
sis.
honest
the
about
question.
Truth always comes out
It
to
always comes
light.
out anyway.
Listen.
After 2 drinks, they telling you
That's
everything.
it.
Ask the
Listen,
questions.
that makes me feel better, because I know a lot of my sisters, is dating and they're just giving me their horrible stories about dating. And I'm just like, Lord, why can't we just be honest? Just be honest, y'all. Be honest. You have to be honest about everything. You can't, again, the shame that we have to put that aside, because when you are dating somebody with the intention of getting into a long-term relationship, you're going to have to put your stuff together. So you have to be honest of what you're doing. Right. And I feel like a man should want to know also what the woman is invested in. You know, she's working on herself. She's, you know, saving her money. She doesn't have, you know, financial trauma, or if she does, she's working on it right now, whatever it is. You know, it's important to know working on your credit score, whatever it is. It's very, very important. Right. Absolutely. Because we don't want to be like sis on the Twitter or whatever it was, the TikTok.
Listen.
You know, she gained 1 million views. I hope she got paid for that, because maybe she made her money back.
She got more than 1 million views.
84 million or something
and
like that.
And she got a car.
Something crazy. She got like $84,000 just from that.
And they flew her to Paris.
But I know
she got it back. She made it back. That's good.
She got it back from it, for sure.
That's good. But she exposed it.
She deserved it.
Yes.
Telling all her business. She better get paid for it.
But no, that's important. That's so important, y'all. And if, you know, the takeaway here, I think, is focus on, you know, just empowering yourself in all ways possible. Okay. Right. So personal growth, professional growth, financial growth, everything, because it is important and it attributes to our success.
Yeah.
Right.
You nailed it. That's exactly what it is.
It attributes to our success. If we're not prepared, ain't gonna come to us, y'all.
No.
It's not gonna come knocking on the door. Just like a man is not gonna come knocking on the door either.
You gotta get ready.
It's not gonna come knocking on the door.
Make space.
You know. So let me ask you a question.
Okay. And it's the last one, because D is gonna cut us off.
Okay. With your financial expertise and being that you're single, are you willing to take in a relationship with a man that, he has a job, he's making good money, but he has a lot of financial trauma, meaning that his money, he's blowing it. He doesn't know what to do with it. Will you take that relationship in, and will you continue a relationship with this person?
For me, that will be settling, because I know what I came from. I know what I'm working towards. But if he is open to seeking help, I'm all for it. But if he is not open to help, I can't get jiggy with it.
Y'all got a beautiful lady and y'all get financial help. Let's go.
Yes.
Y'all better get in there.
Okay.
I'll help you, but if you not
life insurance, you get a conversation about finances, possibly a date. Like, this is a win-win situation, y'all.
I like to eat. Take me on a date.
I love it. Oh my God, this is such a great conversation.
I love you. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy we had you back, because this is so important, y'all. Financial therapy. We're gonna coin that phrase, because not a lot of people are thinking about that.
It's out there, since we gotta call it something else.
Oh, okay, so we'll call it something else.
But financial retraining.
Ooh. Oh, there you go.
Financial reprogramming.
Reprogramming.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Yes. But I look forward to having more of these conversations with you, and bringing more people along to sit with us and, you know, hear us talk about it, because again, it's important. And there's so many ways that you can change your life financially. Just like Troy mentioned, you know, it's not only life insurance, it's also investments that you can make, retirement investments, things like that. We know how the government is running right now. We might not have retements benefits from what they're offering anymore at a certain point. So we got to make it for ourselves, right? So make sure, you know, that y'all tap in. We're definitely going to put this up, and, you know, we'll tag Troy, and y'all can tap in with her. Okay.
I'm excited. Thank you, y'all.
But serious inquiries only.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you better have your money up too.
Okay. Okay. All right, y'all. And thanks to everybody who was watching our IG. We appreciate y'all. And shout out to our sponsor. We didn't big him up. Vakila. Shout out to our sponsor. And yeah, so fearlessly. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back.